Hello, welcome to InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw. 10th and 11th grade girls in local area schools are invited to participate in this year's 6th annual American Association of University Women's Speech Trek. Speech Trek 2023 is being done this year in partnership with Salem Reads, and the book that they're going to be centering their topic on is Born a Crime by Trevor Noah, who is the Daily Show host and has written a book that the whole community wanted to read together this year. But the contest is more than something, a chance to win prizes. This is a chance for young women to find their own voice and have it heard. Here to talk about Speech Trek 2023 is AAUW Salem's contest organizer, Joyce Zook. Hi, Joyce. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Wendy, and thank you so much, and CC Media so much for featuring this so that the public will become more aware of this contest.
I'd like to know, first of all, what is AAUW's Speech Trek? Tell us about it. It's its sixth year.
It's the sixth year that Salem branch of AAUW has conducted this speech contest, but it was originally begun in California, AAUW, in 2007.
Oh, I
And
didn't know that.
they created a toolkit that is available now for every branch across the nation to use. And so AAUW Salem branch members learned about that, and they decided it would be a wonderful opportunity to make connections with the young women in the high schools. So it is a high school program. We've adopted the guidelines of their toolkit to use, and they've also allowed us to use their logo with their permission.
What makes it so appropriate for that age group?
It's a time that, they have probably started studying a little bit about speech and have had some opportunity in the schools to be in their contests regionally. And so we just thought it would give them more experience. And we love for them to be able to learn about the mission of AAUW, which is chiefly equity.
Tell us about that. AAUW is now over 100 years old, and tell us what its mission is.
The mission of AAUW is to advance gender equity and for all women and girls, and to reach their highest potential. And so we try to develop all of our programs and projects surrounding that mission, and try to be involved in the community with all of those kinds of projects in mind to emphasize the need for equity in all aspects.
This book is a wonderful pick by Salem Reads for Speech Trek.
It is indeed. And actually, in 2020, we also collaborated with Salem Reads in a different story that was also based upon racial equity. And so we had our contestants write about that book at that time as well.
What are the contest entrants expected to create?
First of all, they must read the book. That's the first criteria. And then they will create an original persuasive speech that is 6 minutes in length, plus or minus 30 seconds. And this year is based upon the theme race, equity, and activism.
So can they develop one of those topics? Race, equity, activism?
Yes, that's right. And in the application form, they're given guidance as to what areas that they might focus upon, so that instead of having a huge wide category to write their speech from, they can select, for example, one of them is about belonging, because that is a key theme in the book. And so they could just take their speech in that direction.
How do you help them? How can they be helped to sort of sit down and figure out how to approach everything? So that they do
Well,
get something that they feel, this is my voice, this is what I've thought about, and this is what I'd like you to know.
well, certainly after they've read the book and they've read the criteria that we suggest that they go on, um, we do have a contact number on the application form that they can call or write, and we can give them extra points. But the main thing is that they study the issue or the topic. Then they might want to discuss what their thoughts are with some other people around them, just to get other perspectives. And then they can write a draft speech, and they might want to have their teacher review it or their parents review it and give them some constructive criticism about that. And then they practice, practice, practice until it becomes a lot easier to do. Inserting humor and personal stories always pleases the audience. So the most important thing, time your speech, because our speech, our speech guideline is that it's 6 minutes long, plus or minus 30 seconds. And unfortunately, if they go too short or too long, they will be disqualified. So this year, we're going to be helping them a little bit more with the card, holding up cards when the time comes, that they're safe, and then they'll get a signal if they're going over. So anyway, that's the help that we can give to them.
Doesn't everybody have a little bit of fear getting up in front of others and talking?
Oh, absolutely. And the best way to overcome jitters is to practice and have feedback. And then when you build that confidence, that is when you will be able to feel a little bit rested. But I think everyone even performs better if they have a little bit of jitter.
Interesting. And also, when you're in front of an audience, you get feedback from them, just their looks, and they're enjoying themselves, and that helps you. And before you know it, there's a connection and you're talking with people.
Exactly. And we're just hoping that we can attract a lot of the public, the parents, the teachers, the friends, to come and hear the speeches, because that, like you say, the response that they see, and they're going to see smiling faces and a lot of support from the people that are in the audience. Our members love this contest.
I saw some pictures on your Facebook page, and it shows some girls hamming it up and having a good time.
Oh,
And
they were having a wonderful time last year. This year, we've learned now that instead of just sending notices right before the contest by email, that we're going to connect in person, because we feel like that might be a more encouraging for them to take that responsibility of following through with their entry.
what happens on the day of the speech?
We're going to be holding it at Chemeketa Community College, and it's in Building 60. And we'll have our AAUW member volunteers that will be there to greet them at the door. And they will go to a registration table. We'll have at least two groups, and they'll be sectioned into one group and be led into, we have two different speech rooms. And there'll be refreshments that will be provided. And I think we'll have a keynote speaker that starts first, and then we lead right into the speeches, and then the top winners of those two groups will then meet together. Maybe 4 or 5 contestants will be speaking in the finalists, and then from there they're selected. The judges, we have 6 judges, and they come from diverse fields, but they're all very qualified to judge a speech contest. And of course, they choose the winning speeches, and then the prizes are awarded.
Oh, the experience alone of doing your best in front of others sounds like a valuable experience, whether you
It
win or not.
mhm.
And also because you work with other women in the AAUW Salem and have for many years doing community projects, doing things that benefit our community, always in the back of your mind, there must be sort of a memory of when you yourself may have overcome a little bit of jitters and gone on to find your voice.
Oh, that's absolutely true, and it's true with finding people willing to lead, and that is a very important thing to AAUW in general is the leadership of women, and their economic security is another issue. But in order to lead, we provide leadership development, and in order to lead, you must on occasion be in front of people and you must be convincing, uh, of your cause or your project or whatever it is. So we all try to exercise that that part of stepping up to leadership.
What is your career? What did you do in life?
Well, I was a clinical laboratory scientist and I worked in healthcare for about 42 years. So um, I loved I at one time when AAUW had the Expanding Your Horizons, I conducted a class called the Disease Detective. And I loved doing that. And I think my students really loved doing the hands-on activities that we had in that classroom, which had to do with, I was in microbiology much of the time. And so we had auger plates where they would pretend streak out cultures. And so I loved the teaching part of my career as well. And I ended up my career at Oregon State Hospital as a laboratory manager. And it was one of my best jobs ever for 10 years there until the end of my career.
And from your own experience, what catches a gear with young women? Hands-on experience, your teaching style, what is it?
Oh, yes, at different times of my career, I was able to do internships, having students from college come in an internship and have a laboratory experience. And I loved being able to pass that on to them. It was just really a fulfillment.
Sounds like an experience that these young women can look forward to. Can you tell us a little bit of information about how they can learn more about the contest? Is there a website?
There is a website, and if you just Google AAUW Salem, the website comes up, and there will be an application form there, and there will also be forms that your parent or guardian will need to read for information and to sign for permission. And the due date for the applications is February 26th by midnight. And so we encourage everyone to take a look at that and read the book and see if you can find an area that you'd really like to speak about.
Well, Joyce, thank you very much for this. It's very exciting to think that there is a chance for young women to be heard. And more than that people want to listen. It's not just being able to find your voice and articulate something, it's people wanting to hear it, and they will.
Yes.
The other component.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining us today on InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw.
Thank you again, Wendy.